Good morning and welcome to the graduation ceremony of the 177th class of the Montana Law Enforcement Basic Course. My name is Scott Sterland. I am one of the training officers at the Academy. At this time, will you please rise for the presenting of the colors by the Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard, our national anthem performed by Fish, Wildlife and Parks Officer Christy Cullinan, and the invocation given by Chaplain Russ Gina of the Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office.
Present on.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets lit clear, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Forward. On. Hello. Other turn. March.
That's quite a voice to follow. It makes us proud when we hear the national anthem sung that way. But right now, it's time for prayer. Heavenly Father, we have come before you, presenting this class, presenting these men and women that have decided to serve. We ask for your blessing on them, for the training they've done, and to know that they will do more training. They will be the officer that they want to be and need to be. But we give thanks, Lord, that our families and our departments made it through today, a real windy day, but that's all right, because there'll be days like that, and there'll be days that are calm. But we know that we cannot do this without you being there for us. We know that if we go with you behind us, whatever we go into, we'll go there with you there with us. So we thank you. We ask you again to bless. We give thanks for those that have done this. We give thanks for our training crew. We give thanks to all those that have volunteered to serve in this particular situation. So needed, so many different departments from all over the state, but we've come together as one. People of Montana saying, yes, we need this, and we've had people that said yes to it. So be the blessing they need, be the safe travel for each, and we do it all now. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
At this time, I would ask that we pause for a moment of silence to honor those that have gone before us and made the ultimate sacrifice and lost their lives in the call of duty. Thank you. Would you please be seated? On behalf of the Department of Justice, the Montana Department of Justice, and members of the graduating class, we thank you for being with us today. I would also like to extend a special welcome to the sheriffs and chiefs and law enforcement officers from throughout the state who are with us to celebrate this occasion. It is now my pleasure to introduce our special guests for today's ceremony. Attorney General Austin Knudsen, Deputy Lieutenant Attorney General David Ortley, Montana Post Executive Director Eric Gilbertson, Supreme Court Justice James Shea, and Mr. Russ Ginaw, Chaplain for the Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office. I would also like to introduce or mention the members of the Montana Law Enforcement Academy staff who, without their hard work and dedication, none of this could happen. Our support staff, Ms. Deborah Murray, Mr. Steve Slocum, Mr. David Pellin, Ms. Jessie Beeman, and Ms. Brooke Standish. Our training officers, Mr. Michael Dale, Mr. Brian Fisher, Mr. Griffin Sutherland, Ms. Rebecca Strait, Mr. Bruce Parks, Ms. Kelly Sherman, and Montana Highway Patrol Sergeant Zach Freeman. As we proceed today, we welcome friends and family members to take photographs, but please refrain from coming forward of the last row where the graduates are seated. I now ask that Deputy Lieutenant Attorney General David Ortley come forward for his opening remarks.
Well, good morning and welcome to the graduation ceremony for the 177th class of the Montana Law Enforcement Academy's Law Enforcement Officer Basic Course. We're all here today to formally acknowledge these officers' commitment to one another, the agencies who saw something special in them, and to our profession. This class, these graduates, were tested mentally, physically, and perhaps spiritually as they endured 508 hours of training delivered over 60 areas of classroom, skills-based, and scenario training. Based on our conversations yesterday, class, I assume most of that you think was death by PowerPoint, but I assure you it was not. Outdoor training meant long days of training in the brutally cold weather that late January and February brought us this year. This class was not without the challenges brought about by COVID and its variants. Thankfully, the demands of COVID protocols were eased early in this class, and we were all able to concentrate on training and not social distancing. The Academy's dedicated and support staff were there alongside these graduates every day. On behalf of our administrator, Glenn Steiner, who I appear for today, I offer to my colleagues Glenn's thanks and gratitude for a job well done. I'd also like to thank the adjunct instructors across the state that shared their time, their knowledge, their skill, and their passion for public safety with this class as they came and helped us train. As a training officer, working at the Academy requires that the staff be part parent by making sure that these students have the necessary gear and mindset for each training event, and part life coach to offer advice when difficult personal decisions must be made in the midst of a regimented training schedule. Together, the staff and these officers overcame obstacles as we shared this journey to this day. It's customary for the administrator of the academy to address the class and offer some words of advice to the graduates as they return to their agencies and to their families. When Mr. Steiner approached me and I contemplated what it was I should share with Class 177, I decided to share some thoughts about your legacy as peace officers, the legacies that you are about to create. My decision to go down this road was reinforced a week and a half ago when I sat in the courtroom of the Montana Supreme Court and listened to Justice Baker and Justice Wright address a group of officers, command-level officers, who were here for an executive leadership training course, the first week of 3. And in closing, both Justice Wright and Justice Baker emphasized the need for integrity and character in law enforcement during difficult times in policing. It was then that I knew that I wanted to share these ideas with you. At the Academy, the training officers have done their best to provide you with the best practice in a multitude of areas. As you return to your agencies across this state, you will undoubtedly find there are a number of ways to accomplish most of the skills that you've learned in your 12 weeks at the Academy. With that, I'm not going to talk about tactics or what we've learned. Rather, I'm going to talk about the things that we didn't teach you, the things that we have not learned. I want to encourage you to consider this morning your role as a leader and the attributes and skills needed to lead, and suggest that you develop these attributes and skills now, early in your career, rather than waiting for someone to tap you on the shoulder and tell you you're a leader. I recently read a manuscript of a book titled Tactical Police Leadership. The author's premise is that every call to service is a call to leadership. On every call, leadership begins with the first officer on the scene. For Class 177, there may only be one officer on the scene. Backup may be a long way away. And it's required that you develop those skills and have that attitude of a leader sooner than later. The leadership call continues until the mission is complete and that call is ended. Again, sometimes the only leader is the individual officer. Sometimes it's command staff and special teams. But what's important is it doesn't matter to the caller or the citizen that is in need of help. They expect and are entitled to expect that you possess the tactical skill, the personal character, and the moral integrity to resolve the situation at hand. We don't teach you leadership skills at the Academy in the basic course. Those are left to the Executive Leader Institute and other advanced courses. Probably most of you won't receive formal training until you're tapped to become an FTO, or someone sees something in you and concludes that you have leadership potential. I believe, like the author of Tactical Leadership, that every call is in fact a call to leadership, and that you ought to cultivate the skills that great leaders possess and nurture the character attributes found in those people who lead. Thousands of books have been written about leadership. You can Google the topic and you will be inundated with information. Any number of days you can listen to wonderful podcasts on the topic. But in my experience, one book stands out, and I borrow from it liberally, and I recommend it to you highly. John Hamm is the author of a book called Unusually Excellent: The 9 Necessary Skills for the Great Practice of Leadership. Hamm has condensed in one book a summary of those skills that he found having read many of those great leadership books. And he's condensed those into his book, Unusually Excellent: The 9 Necessary Skills. And he says these are the skills that unusually excellent people possess. As you leave here today, you are unusually excellent people. I want you to think, as you start out in your career, what your legacy as an officer will be, and whether these same skills will be the foundation of the legacy that you're about to build. Also consider what your community, your agency, and your loved ones see in you and expect in you as a peace officer as you graduate today, and as you go to answer calls to service in an undeniably challenging and rapidly changing world for law enforcement officers. So Hamm identifies 3 broad categories of attributes that he found in unusually excellent people: leaders of corporations, leaders of communities, law enforcement agencies, and leaders of their family. The three are credibility, competence, and consequence. Each of these has three small components. Credibility is the bedrock of character. To be creditable, you must be authentic. You must know who you are. You must believe in yourself. You must know your strengths and weaknesses, and you must own them. You must be trustworthy. You must build day by day a track record of honesty, fairness, integrity on and off the job. You must also be compelling in all that you do. To be compelling, you must be honest in your communication and committed to a cause or a vision. It may be the successful resolution of a difficult call or a long overdue change in the culture of your agency. Competence is the ongoing development of your entire skill set, not just practical skills that are used in the field or the office. You should strive to understand people, what motivates them to action and what motivates them to follow you as an unusually excellent person. You must become adept at developing strategies to accomplish the skills you envision and learn how to execute those strategies to a successful result. Your ability to explain the why is crucial. For example, you successfully de-escalated a tense standoff with an emotionally charged person and paved the way for them to get help and move on with their life in a positive way. Unusually excellent people have a public and passionate commitment to successful outcomes and model it in their personalities, their value, and their work. The third and final category is consequence. This is your creation of a personal and professional culture of excellence and a developing of a lasting legacy of values. It has three core components. The first is open and honest communication. That is the hallmark of unusually excellent people. Communication, not just talking, but communicating with people, is the pathway to effectiveness and trust, the consequences of your action, and ultimately your legacy. Decision-making and decisiveness model your values and always outlast the memory of the decision, whether it was seen as good or bad. Finally, you must consider impact and the impact you have on the people around you. Unusually excellent people regularly examine their actions, their decisions, and communication to ensure that they will stand the test of time. They recognize that how people feel is important. As officers, everything you do or say has the chance to make either a positive or a negative impact. Your positional power as police officers leverages your every word and action. They must be consistent with your character, your values, and the legacy that you choose to build. In closing, I urge you to strive now to possess and model the attributes of unusually excellent people. Do that in your position as a peace officer, in your home, and as a member of your community. Don't wait for someone to tap you on the shoulder and tell you that you're a leader. As you graduate and begin whatever your legacy will be, I want to share with you the words of Lao Tzu. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. For the graduates of Law Enforcement Officer Basic Course 177, on behalf of Mr. Steiner, it is my honor to inform each of you that you have met the requisites and requirements dictated by Montana law and promulgated by administrative rule for an issuance of your diploma of certification that you have completed the Law Enforcement Officer Basic Course at the Montana Law Enforcement Academy. On behalf of the entire Academy staff, I wish you well in your careers, and I invite you to come back to the Academy, to come back and talk to us, tell us your stories, your successes, and I certainly encourage you to come back and help us train the next generation of unusually excellent people. Thank you very much. It is now my privilege to introduce to you my boss, the Montana Attorney General Austin Knudsen.
Good morning, class. And good morning and welcome, friends and family. I'm Attorney General Austin Knudsen. It's an honor to be here today with all of you for the graduation of Class 177 from the Montana Law Enforcement Academy. To the instructors and staff of MLEA, thank you for all the time and effort you've invested into these fine men and women. Thank you for imparting your experience and wisdom to them as they embark on the noble calling of public service. Thank you as well to the friends and family of Class 177. Today's graduates could not have done this without you. And they'll need your support going forward if they're going to be the best officers that they can be. Every single person in this room has seen the impacts of the drug and crime epidemic that's been sweeping our state. The dangerous addictive drugs coming in from the southern border, like fentanyl and methamphetamine, are causing an increase in violent crimes all across the state. We're seeing this across the board at the Department of Justice, with narcotics investigations, overdose deaths, and drug interdictions all up. The Montana Highway Patrol recently seized over 9,000 fentanyl pills in one traffic stop. That's nearly twice as much as all troopers found in all stops last year. Communities and families in Montana are being torn apart by drugs and crime. I ran for Attorney General because my wife and I saw the devastation of the drug epidemic in our community and across Montana. Over more than a decade in private practice, and then as Roosevelt County Attorney, I saw the problem getting worse and worse. But the graduates here today have stepped up to do something about that problem, and they need our support. As Attorney General, I'm committed to working with them and their agencies to ensure they have the tools and the resources they need to keep our communities safe. That means putting the focus of the Attorney General's office and the Department of Justice where it belongs, upholding public safety and working with federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies to do it. During my first year in office, we've made it a priority to get resources out of Helena and into position to help agencies around the state keep their communities safe. We moved the Highway Patrol headquarters from a privately owned building here in Helena to a larger state-owned facility in Jefferson County, and are putting the money saved on rent to better law enforcement use. Through a grant program we spearheaded, 24 new drug-detecting canines will be deployed across agencies across the state, and some are already on the job getting dangerous drugs off our highways and streets. We've eliminated redundant desk jobs and found other new ways to get additional major crime and narcotics officers out in the field, not here in Helena. And more importantly, we are just getting started. As law enforcement officers, you will all be responsible for whether the people you encounter can enjoy their lives and their freedoms in this special state that we call home. Unfortunately, crime today knows no boundaries, and criminals grow bolder every day. Violent crime in Montana has increased more than 50% just in recent years. Illegal drugs are causing the spike, making criminals more dangerous and exposing first responders to drugs that kill just from accidental contact. You're all going to face additional scrutiny as well. Scrutiny and unfortunately often hostility toward law enforcement in a way that previous generations of law enforcement simply haven't had to deal with. Driven by special interest groups in the media, it manifests itself in slogans such as defund the police and criminal-friendly policies being pushed in Congress and in certain prosecutor officers across our country. But you knew all of this when you answered the call to service and decided to press on anyway. So when Montanans see your uniform and they see that badge, they know you have their back. And as your Attorney General, I want you to know that Montanans have your back and that I have your back. because Montana is a state that values law enforcement. When you leave here today, you'll head to your duty stations from Hamilton to the High Line, from Flathead County to the Fort Peck Reservation, and many other communities across the state. Some of you will serve in rural areas where long distances complicate response times. Others will be based in areas that present their own unique challenges, such as some of Montana's largest cities. But you are here today because you have proven that you are ready to meet these challenges, known and unknown, that are waiting for you as law enforcement officers. Thank you again to your friends, your families, and your instructors. But most importantly, thank you for choosing a career in law enforcement. Congratulations. Please be safe. Thank you.
At this time, it is our custom to introduce officers who have achieved individual honors during their participation in the 177th class of the Law Enforcement Officer Basic. Attorney General Knudsen will be presenting the awards. The Jeff Douglas Health and Physical Fitness Award is given to the officer in each class that achieves the best score of the class as a whole on the Montana Physical Abilities Test. This award is given in honor of Jeff Douglas, a former Montana Highway Patrol trooper and dedicated fitness training officer at the Montana Law Enforcement Academy. Along with this award is a tuition scholarship to attend the Academy Law Enforcement MPAT Proctor course. The recipient of the Health and Physical Fitness Award for Class 177 is Shane Schaefer, Billings Police Department. The Alan Kimmery Award is given to the officer in recognition of outstanding marksmanship by displaying excellence and the highest ranking in firearms training through marksmanship, safety, and tactical proficiency. This award is given in memory of Deputy Alan Kimmery of the Missoula County Sheriff's Office. Along with this award is a tuition scholarship to attend the Academy Firearms Instructor course. The recipient of the Alan Kimmery Award for Class 177 is Ezra Ginsburg, Montana Fish Wildlife Works. The Mike McCarthy Award is given to the officer in each class that exceeds in performance through mastering the skills associated with defensive tactics. This award is given in honor of the Montana Law Enforcement Academy training officer, Mike McCarthy. During Mike's distinguished career at the Academy, he served as a firearms, SWAT, and master defensive tactics instructor. Among his many accomplishments is creating the policies that shape the training requirements for SWAT teams statewide. Before becoming to the Academy, Mike served as a deputy sheriff with the Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office for over 20 years. Along with this award is a tuition scholarship for the Academy's Defensive Tactics Instructor course. The recipient of the Mike McCarthy Award for Class 177 is Clark O'Donnell of the Carter County Sheriff's Office. Carter. The Jimmy Carroll Award is given to the officer in each class that has displayed outstanding scholastic achievement by obtaining the highest combined overall score in all academic areas. The award is given in memory of retired Sheriff Jimmy Carroll of the Fergus County Sheriff's Office. The recipient of the Jimmy Carroll Award for Class 177 is Christy Cullinan of Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. The Glenn Janes Award is given to the officer in each class who demonstrates the highest level of proficiency in police vehicle operations. This award is given in honor of Trooper Glenn Janes. Trooper Janes served many years honorably as a trooper for the Montana Highway Patrol and an adjunct driving instructor for the Montana Law Enforcement Academy. Along with this award is a tuition scholarship for the Academy's Police Vehicle Operation Instructor course. The recipient of the Glenn Janes Award for Class 177 is Jethaniel Bear Medicine, Blackfeet Law Enforcement. The Alex Mavity Award is given to the officer in each class who has achieved the highest accumulated score on all academic and skill-based training modules. This includes a combination of academics, firearms, driving, defensive tactics, Montana Physical Abilities Test, scenario-based training, and weekly performance evaluations. This award is given in memory of Detective Alex Mavity of the Billings Police Department. The recipient of the Alex Mavity Award for Class 177 is Quinn Gagnon of Cascade County Sheriff's Office. The Paul Williams Award winner is selected by their peers and given to an officer in each class who provides great inspiration to the staff and students through their display of unwavering dedication and never-ending determination. The award is given in memory of late Sheriff Paul Williams of the Choteau County Sheriff's Office. In Fort Benton, there is a plaque that honors Sheriff Williams, which reads, "Service above all else, except honor." The recipient of the Paul Williams Award for Class 177 is John Nuss of the Cascade County Sheriff's Office. The Joe May Award is selected by their peers and given to the officer in each class displaying exceptional leadership and an incredible sense of motivation. This award is given in remembrance of the late Joe May. Mr. May served as the Assistant Public Service Director for what was then known as Montana State College. He is one of several people credited with the creation of the Montana Law Enforcement Academy. The recipient of the Joe May Award for Class 177 is Shane Klipnis of the Great Falls Police Department. The Jack Wiseman Award is given in tribute to Mr. Jack Wiseman, who served for over 22 years as a training officer and administrator for the Montana Law Enforcement Academy. The winner is selected by their peers as the most outstanding officer in the class as a whole. This award is based on the officer's display of exceptional professionalism by demonstrating an exemplary attitude and outstanding achievement in leadership, academics, health and fitness, and survival skills. The recipient of the Jack Wiseman Award for Class 177 is Richard Fife, Butte Silver Bow Law Enforcement. The Hal Vogelsang Award winner is selected by Academy staff and given to an officer in each class who displays the highest degree of fidelity by constantly demonstrating through action and deeds the overall qualities of honor, pride, integrity, duty, loyalty, and service. This award is given in remembrance of the late Hal Vogelsang. Mr. Vogelsang served as an adjunct training officer for the Montana Law Enforcement Academy for over 25 years. The recipient of the Hal Vogelsang Award for Class 177 is Breanne Sanders of the Bozeman Police Department. For the officers of Class 177, this is the part of the ceremony you've been looking forward to for 12 weeks. The presentation of your diplomas marks the conclusion of your education and training with us and serves as the highlight of today's ceremony. It signals the end of one phase of your career and the beginning of another. Once again, I ask that Attorney General Knudsen present these officers with their diplomas. I would further ask that you hold your applause until the last officer has received their diploma.
Baseman 177, attention! Right face! Forward march!
Isaiah Asensio. Kootenai Salish Tribal Fish and Game. Sarah Basso. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. Daniel Beasley. Anaconda Deer Lodge County Law Enforcement. Nathaniel Bear Medicine. Blackfeet Law Enforcement. Austin Bennett. Missoula Police Department. Daniel Boucher. Missoula Police Department. Dakota Bridwell. Polson Police Department. Gideon Buck Elk. Fort Peck Tribes Fish and Game. Presley Chadwick. Hamilton Police Department. Charles Cornwall. Fergus County Sheriff's Office. Dillon Council. Richland County Sheriff's Office. Christy Cullinan. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. Dylan Deemer. Missoula County Sheriff's Office. Martin Fay. Bighorn County Sheriff's Office. Richard Fife. Butte Silverbow Law Enforcement. Matthew Fisher. Ennis Police Department. Anthony Floor. Missoula Police Department. Quinn Gagnon. Cascade County Sheriff's Office. Ezra Ginsburg. Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks. Calvin Greif. Havre Police Department. Rebecca Hattersley. MSU Bozeman Police Department. Blaine Higgins. Baker Police Department. Mark Kasubi. Judith Basin County Sheriff's Office. Shane Klipness. Great Falls Police Department. David Kunzelman. Mineral County Sheriff's Office. Armando Lopez. Billings Police Department. Hunter Meyer. Kalispell Police Department. Thomas Malcolm. Deer Lodge Police Department. Eric Meeks. Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. Dalton Meredith. Flathead County Sheriff's Office. Jamie Meyer. Flathead County Sheriff's Office. Jacob Miller. Butte Silverbow Law Enforcement. Jesse Moon. Valley County Sheriff's Office. Logan Moore. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. Colin Nethery. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. John Nuss. Cascade County Sheriff's Office. Clark O'Donnell. Carter County Sheriff's Office. Eric Olson. Bridger Police Department. Nicholas Ransom. Helena Police Department. Andrew Ratzloff. Billings Police Department. Cody Rossi. Lewistown Police Department. Brianne Sanders. Bozeman Police Department. Dallin Schmidt. Fort Peck Tribes Fish and Game. Nicholas Schultz. Bozeman Police Department. Shane Schaefer. Billings Police Department. Brandon Shaw. Chinook Police Department. Dara Shea. Motor Carrier Services. Kayla Smith. Hill County Sheriff's Office. Quinton Snow. Fort Belknap Law Enforcement. Kevin Stahlberg. Yellowstone County Sheriff's Office. Wyatt Uphouse. Phillips County Sheriff's Office. Dalton Wall. Motor Carrier Services. Bradley Weber. Missoula County Sheriff's Office. Matthew Weber. Rosebud County Sheriff's Office. John White. Helena Police Department. Nicholas Wolter. Teton County Sheriff's Office. Zachary Zavotek. Billings Police Department. Congratulations to all of the officers of the Law Enforcement Officer Basic Class 177. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to the class representative for Class 177, Deputy Dylan Deemer.
Thank you and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dylan Deemer with the Missoula County Sheriff's Office. I am honored to be speaking to all of you on behalf of Class 177. Over the last 12 weeks, we have been living at the Montana Law Enforcement Academy and learning the basics of all aspects of law enforcement. The Montana Law Enforcement Academy is the only basic academy in the entire state of Montana, and the oldest state academy in the U.S. This means that officers from all over the state and from all forms of law enforcement come here. We have officers from municipal and county agencies, tribal police, state fish, wildlife, and parks, state motor carrier services, and tribal fish and game. We also have officers that come from incredibly diverse backgrounds. Each individual in this academy has personally taught me something that I am grateful for. The Montana Law Enforcement Academy is a premier educational establishment comprised of some of the best instruction possible. Some of that instruction comes from outside agencies, and I would like to take a moment to thank those agencies for sending representatives to help teach us. These agencies have spent time, money, and resources to guarantee that we receive every opportunity to prepare ourselves for patrol. Thank you to our training officers who not only taught us the curriculum, but also went the extra mile to bring new best practices to our training academy. Their dedication to our success outside of here is the reason that we've all made it here today. We would like to thank our families who have been without us for the past 3 months. They did not sign up for this, but are living this career as much as we are now. They will be seeing us at our best and worst, and will be there for all the changes that come our way. I would like to take a moment to thank my peers. All of us brought different perspectives to the training we received and have valuable past experience, whether it was careers in military, EMS, social services, and so on. Leaning on each other has helped us get through. We have grown as a team from early morning physical training, getting pepper sprayed and tased together, and our conflict simulation. We have laughed and suffered together. More than anything, we have gotten each other through. As we return to our agencies, I wish the best of luck to all of you. Remember that none of us are alone. Reach out, use your resources, and never stop training. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Deemer. At this time, I would ask Supreme Court Justice Shea to come forward and administer the Criminal Justice Code of Ethics. Traditionally, we have had all law enforcement in attendance rise and affirm the Code of Ethics. Today, we will have only the law enforcement officers of Basic Class 177 rise and affirm the Code of Ethics, which will allow each officer to individually state their name. I would now ask that officers of Class 177 rise and affirm the Code of Ethics.
Class 177, attention!
I want to congratulate you on an incredible accomplishment to both you and your families. It is a privilege to always do this. It is a real treat to do it, and it is quite a celebration. Would you all please raise your right hand? I state your name.
General Shea. Dylan Johnson.
Christy Cullinan.
Dylan Eber. Marcus Pack. Richard Fire. Dr. Fisher. Anthony Ford. Green Davis. Edward Mitchell. Elvin Pratt. Wayne Higgins. Marcus Booty. Jerry Booter. David Coleman. Hunter Meyer. Austin Thomas. Eric Keith. Dalton Meredith.
Jamie Meyer.
Jimmy Lewis. Jesse Booth. Bill Moore. Colin Leonard. John Duff. Mark Thomas. Eric Coleman. And Brad. Cody Rossi.
Julian Sanders.
Gavin Smith. Greg King. Brandon Shaw. Wyatt Howard. Dalton Wall. Brad Weber. Mark Weber. Ron White. Nicholas Golden. Zachary Lopez.
Swear or affirm, as a criminal justice officer, my fundamental duty is to serve mankind. To safeguard lives and property. To protect all persons against deception. The weak against oppression or intimidation. And the peaceful against violence or disorder. And to respect the constitutional rights of all people. To liberty, equality, and justice. I will constantly strive to achieve these objectives and ideals. Dedicating myself before God and my chosen profession. Congratulations.
Class, please be seated. Thank you, Supreme Court Justice Shea. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our graduation ceremony. We thank you for being with us today on this momentous occasion. I ask that the audience remain seated until the last of these officers has been dismissed. The graduates of Class 177, on behalf of Attorney General Austin Knudsen, Chaplain Russ Gina, Deputy Lieutenant Attorney General David Ortley, and the entire MLEA staff, we wish you health, happiness, and success in all you do in your new careers as law enforcement professionals. Thank you.